over here as well. I was changing the title and where I screwed it up, so said I wasn't scheduled to go live till 5 tonight or something, but I wanted to go live right now. Excuse me. Um, yeah, haven't done anything on this channel for a little bit. Did say I wanted to do some things, so that having the this is one of my favorite spots to kind of stream from. I love having the Palestinian flag in the background. It makes the uneducated and ignorant propaganda drunks just like melt down. Like they can't handle it. It's amazing how uninformed and easily triggered people are. So again, hello. I know I haven't done a whole bunch on this channel the past little bit. I did want to start doing some more, and I thought this would be a perfect one. So, not going to be on long. Hello, Miss Frosty. But this is something I think probably should be on this channel. My own too. I do whatever randomness over there, but I took a break the other day, and I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole. It was fairly interesting. Shout out to MacGyver, by the way. He's the one that unintentionally sent me down this rabbit hole. He's going in for surgery on the 24th. So shout out, Mac. Hope you're doing well, taking care of yourself. And shout out Mac's wife. They have a pretty long and dedicated relationship. You know, anybody can tell you about trials and tribulations. It's, those people. So, shout out Mac. Shout out his wife. Bear with me. I'm going to. I'll be using the pad today. So, I got going down this rabbit hole of think tanks, and if you want, I can show you so I got think tank into Google, and I'm just gonna go and bring up Wikipedia. Okay, let's say what you want about Wikipedia. Excuse me. So, and it gives you where I'm in Wikipedia think tank. Okay. Nope. I probably maybe should be to have this set in dark mode. It's probably easier for you guys to see. But I'm not really going to be showing my screen. I'm just showing so you can see where I'm at and follow along on your own computer device or whatever. So again, Wikipedia think tank. All right. Oops. A think tank or policy institute is a research institute that performs research, my goodness, and advocacy concerning topics such as social policy, political strategy, economics, military, technology, and culture. Most think tanks are non-governmental organizations, but some are semi-autonomous agencies within government, and some are associated with particular political parties, businesses, or the military. Think tanks are often funded by individual donations, with many also accepting government grants. So these people get together, sit around, and think up of ways and try and devise strategies and plans for military action, government policy, economics, all that. Hi, Lapis. Good to see you. ABD, can you just check that's the real Lapis? I'm sure it is, but so it goes on to talk more, right? It's think tank, Wikipedia. Go look it up, read it yourself. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It talks about the history. According to historian Jacob Soul, while the term think tank is modern, with its origin traced to the humanist academies and scholarly networks of the 16th and 17th centuries. So did think tanks go back hundreds of years? Saul writes that in Europe, the origins of think tanks go back to the 800s, when emperors and kings began arguing with the Catholic Church about taxes. A tradition of hiring teams of independent lawyers to advise monarchs about their financial and political prerogatives against the church spans from Charlemagne all the way to the 17th century, when the kings of France were still arguing about whether they had the right to appoint bishops and receive a cut of their income. Okay, cool. Thank you. Hi, Lapis. Good to see you. Excuse me. So this is just, that's kind of the history. You know, they're talking about think tanks, right? People that sit around and think shit up and advise your leaders, rulers, whatever the fuck. So 19th century, right? That's 1800s for people that don't know. Several major current think tanks were founded in the 19th century, so the 1800s. The Royal United Services Institute was founded in 1831 in London, and Fabian Society in 1884. The oldest United States-based think tank, the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, was founded in Washington, D.C. in 1910 by philanthropist Andrew Carnegie. Carnegie changed trustees, blah, 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 blah. So this is, you know, it's going on about think tanks again. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Scraptastic. Hi, Amanda. Good to see you. Excuse me. So then here's the thing, it goes into global think tanks. Okay, global think tanks. So there's Ghana and Morocco and Somalia and South Africa and Asian ones and Afghanistan and Bangladesh and China and so on and so forth. So I was like, okay, well, you know, I did like Iraq. You get to Israel and it's like the whole freaking page. Like I found that one kind of interesting. You have to go like all the way down to the bottom to get to North America, because right now we're in Europe. All these think tanks that are listed, and well, there's Sweden. Timbro is a free market think tank and book publisher based in Stockholm. So Amanda, sorry, you only get one. Israel gets a whole page. Sweden just one. Excuse me. Australia also gets a freaking whole massive page. I should set it on dark mode, sorry. So carrying on, Canada, right? We also get a whole freaking entire page, like it's cray. There were a couple that stood out to me that I wanted to kind of check a little bit more. One such one that stuck out to me was this one here. Sorry, I know it's glare. Called the National Citizens Coalition. I found that one kind of stuck out to me because I was like, you know, I've been talking for a lot of years about starting a political party that's like a coalition of citizens, right? So that one kind of stood out to me. Let's click on it. National Citizens Coalition, think tank in Canada. All right. The National Citizens Coalition is, again, National Citizens Coalition. Look it up for yourself. I'm on Wikipedia, as you can see. National Citizens Coalition is a Canadian conservative lobby group that was incorporated in 1975 by Colin M. Brown, a successful insurance agent who strongly opposed public health insurance. So this is a think tank that is trying to come up with ways to remove your public health care. They're against socialized public health care. In response to what he perceived to be excessive government spending in Canada, Brown had begun an advertisement campaign in 1967, blah, 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 blah. From 1998 to 2002, the president of the group was Stephen Harper, who served as the 22nd Prime Minister of Canada from 2006 to 2015. So the president of the National Citizens Coalition from 1998 to 2002, this is a think tank that is against your public health care and is trying to come up with ways in which they can, let's get rid of that. The president of this think tank, before they were prime minister, none other than Stephen Harper. The NCC has supported privatization, tax cuts, and government spending cuts. It also opposes electoral laws that limit third-party spending. Excuse me. 70s, 3 federal political parties. Lewis thought the big business received corporate welfare bums. Excuse me. In 1993, the NCC, National Citizens Coalition, think tank in Canada, successfully supported Stephen Harper's bid to become a Reform Party member of Parliament for Calgary West. In 1997, Harper resigned as a member of Parliament and joined the NCC and became the NCC's vice president. From 1998 to 2002, Stephen Harper served as NCC president with Jerry Nichols as vice president. In 2002, Harper resigned as NCC's president to seek the leadership of the Canadian Alliance. Harper served as 22nd Prime Minister of Canada from 2006 to 2015. Now, another thing that this NCC seems to do, we should actually. Again, this is a National Citizens Coalition think tank in Canada. I've showed how we got here on Wikipedia. So every Canadian out there, go look this shit up, read this, because it's fucking mind-boggling. And again, say what you will about Wikipedia. I very much understand. I've seen it edited myself. People have made edits that are just... Anyways. At a June 1997 meeting of the American political organization, the Council for National Policy, CNP, held in Montreal, Quebec, Harper said that the American conservative movement was a light and an inspiration to Canada and across the world. Harper compared Canada with the United States in the 1990s, saying that the standard of living was substantially lower in Canada, while the unemployment rate was almost double that of the United States, and there was a massive brain drain of young professionals. The Council for National Policy is a little-known group that has served for decades as a hub for a nationwide network of conservative activists and the donors who support them. It was established during the Reagan administration in 1981 by right-wing conservative Christians. Its members are a few hundred of the most powerful conservatives in the country who meet behind closed doors at undisclosed locations for a confidential conference, according to the New York Times. In his speech, Harper summarized his perspective on the federal parties in 1997 with a focus on the Reform Party, its leader Preston Manning, its strengths, weaknesses, and future as Christian conservative movement. Again, I'm just reading what's on the page here. Go look it up yourself. Excuse me. In 2003, Peter Coleman. Okay. The NCC, National Citizens Coalition, holds no annual general membership meetings and provides no financial statements to its members. The organization's constitution distinguishes between voting and public members. Public members pay dues, but do not have formal mechanisms for influencing the organization's policies or priorities. Public members are not entitled to be notified of or to attend any meetings, and they are not entitled to vote at any such meetings. It is headquartered in Toronto and reports an annual budget of $2.8 million. The organization has fought to keep information about itself confidential and opposed amendments to the Canada Elections Act, that would have required third-party organizations like the NCC to publish the names of all contributors donating more than $250. They don't want any accountability, no responsibility, be very kept quiet that people apparently aren't supposed to know these fucking people even exist. They have no responsibility towards their members that pay them their make contributions and pay their membership dues. Members don't get to vote, don't get informed of anything, nothing. Campaigns against Medicare. Brown was vehemently opposed to public health insurance, although now the NCC is now reluctant to take such a stand on this issue as it would be unpopular with the electorate. So they're still against healthcare. They just know it's going to piss a whole bunch of people off if they're like, yeah, we want to do away with your public healthcare. Now, keeping in mind, Stephen Harper was their president from 1998 to 2002, then went on to become prime minister. Is that not a conflict of interest? It seems like a conflict of interest because this guy is part of a super secret freaking think tank group that is trying to devise a way to take Canadians' healthcare away from them. And then Harper gets into freaking federal power and cuts funding to healthcare. And then you have people that are like, oh, our healthcare system, there's wait times and etc. Yeah, it's being broken on purpose, okay? It's being cut and underfunded and mismanaged on purpose to run it into the ground in the hopes that people will be like, yeah, we really need to go to privatized medicine. I've been saying it for a long time that is like the conservative modus operandi. That's their MO. They take office. The very first thing conservatives do is cut funding to healthcare and education. They want people sick and stupid. But this is actually confirming it, that they really are looking to do away with your healthcare and try and shift the electorate, trying to shift the population into thinking that privatize is a better way to go, even though the United States citizens are like in arms because literally the whole Western world has some kind of Medicare program that's incorporated from their taxes, except them. Like they pay for Israel's, but they don't get their own. Like a lot of US citizens, not thrilled about that. I wouldn't be either. That's freaking ridiculous. How are we paying for Israel to have socialized public health care? We're paying for that, but like we can't have our own because our military is... Anyways, the NCC has campaigned against the Canada Health Act, keeping in mind Stephen Harper president. The Canadian Wheat Board. That one was really, really weird to me. Like, this NCC seemed to be against public ownership of literally anything. Like, any kind of socialized, public-owned, corporation, whatever. These motherfuckers are against it. They want to privatize it and sell it to their fucking rich buddies. The people aren't allowed to own shit. So this NCC has campaigned against the Canadian Wheat Board. I mean, there's a few other ones here too, but to me that seemed really weird. Like, how do you campaign against the Canadian Wheat Board? So let's click on that. Canadian Wheat Board. Excuse me. The Canadian Wheat Board was a marketing board for wheat and barley in Western Canada, established by the Parliament of Canada on July 5th, 1935. Its operation was governed by the Canadian Wheat Board Act as a mandatory producer marketing system for wheat and barley in Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and a small part of British Columbia. It was illegal for any farmer in areas under the Canadian Wheat Board's jurisdiction to sell their wheat and barley through any other channel than the CWB. Although often called a monopoly, it was actually a monopsony, since it was the only buyer of wheat and barley. It was a marketing agency acting on behalf of Western Canadian farmers, passing all profits from its operation back to the farmers. Its market power over wheat and barley marketing was referred to as the single desk. Amid criticism, the Canadian Wheat Board's single desk marketing power officially ended on August 1st, 2012 as a result of Bill C-18, also known as the Marketing Freedom for Grain and Farmer Act, which was tabled by the Harper government and passed in December 2011. Harper government. Interesting. The Canadian Wheat Board changed its name to simply CWB, reflecting its changed status. CWB continued to operate as a grain company, although the bill also set a timeline for the eventual privatization of the Canadian Wheat Board. Eventual privatization. On April 15th, 2015, it was announced that a 50.1% majority stake in the Canadian Wheat Board would be acquired by a global grain group, a joint venture of Bunge Limited and the Saudi Agricultural and Livestock Investment Company for $250 million. Canadian Wheat Board was combined with the grain assets of Bunge Canada to form G3 Canada Limited. Something that goes along with that is Canadian farmers tried to buy the Wheat Board. There's a Canadian farmers got together, and again, this is just all Wikipedia found within just a couple clicks. Really simple. This is Canadian Wheat Board. National Citizens Coalition think tanks. Excuse me. But something accompanying this Canadian Wheat Board thing is that the farmers tried to buy it. Canadian farmers all got together and were like, we'll buy the Canadian Wheat Board. Like, if you're so hell-bent on privatizing it, instead of having it be socially owned, where like the farmers are getting the, reaping the rewards, as it were, sell it to us. You know what the Harper government did? Said, fuck you, farmers, and sold it to the Saudis. They're rich fucking buddies. Stephen Harper directly is against you having fucking healthcare and against you having control over your own fucking farmers' wheat. So all you conservative fucking farmers in the prairie provinces that think the conservatives are fucking helping you, no, they're directly working against you. They're just really good at selling bullshit. And that's exactly what's happened. Stephen Harper completely working against the best interests of Canada and Canadians. You're not allowed to fucking have your Wheat Board selling it to my fucking buddies over there in Saudi. We don't want you to have health care. If your kid breaks their arm skateboarding, you need to sell your house and become an in-debt slave. Remember, this guy was president of a fucking think tank that actively worked for this shit. Actively was campaigning against your healthcare. Actively. Trying to come up with ways that they can get fucking rid of it. Then he got into fucking prime minister seat and proceeded to try and make that fucking become a reality more and more. Even though they have realized somewhat that it's not exactly probably in the best interest to continue to take this stance, because we kind of like our healthcare, and that we don't have to like sell our homes if a fucking kid falls off a fucking skateboard and breaks their arm. It's not a very popular fucking opinion here in Canada. But yet they were doing it. I don't know. I found it very interesting that just a couple clicks, and honestly, you can tell right away that there's some fuckery going on with these. Again, shout out Mac for kind of making me think tanks. And I was always aware of it. I know that there's people that fucking sit around and think shit up and how they can like steer and shift society into thinking certain ways. Or forgot I'm on the Freaky Network today, looking up the wrong channel. bloody hell. But I really wish that people could kind of be a little bit more cognizantly aware that you definitely have people that are working against and they will get into the prime minister's office sometimes and make it seem like they're your buddy when really they're working against your best interests, as we saw Stephen Harper do with healthcare and our wheat board, completely going against the best interests of Canada and Canadians. Can't let those freaking socialized farmers have fucking, they can't have profits. They can't benefit from their own fucking farming and selling of their wheat and grains. Can't have them benefiting. No. We need the rich assholes to own this shit, privatize it, sell it to Saudi. So now Saudi controls the Canadian Wheat Board. Congratulations, Prairie Conservatives. Good job voting in those Conservatives that just fucked you over. Pissed in your ear and told you it was raining. It's pretty much what happened. So, excuse me. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I had to kind of go down that rabbit hole a bit with people. And, you know, I live in the prairies here in Alberta, and it is fucking conservative country. Like, I'm surrounded by motherfuckers, and especially a lot of farmers. It's just, you know, right-wing white Christian shit. They think it's some amazing, I don't even know, fucking stature, or like they think they're above other people. I don't know what the fuck is with that mentality, but I'm telling you, I just proved it. If you're voting for the Conservatives, I've never voted Liberal. I can go into Liberals all day long, but this was a lesson about the Conservatives. Think tanks, the Conservatives, how people get into power and fucking manipulate and shift shit and sell it to you. It's a good thing when it's actually completely fucking you over. So fuck the Conservatives. Fuck the Liberals and NDP too. But we got to change how we vote if we actually want decent, positive change. Like Harper did say when he was done with Canada, people wouldn't recognize it, and accurate. And now it's just gotten worse under Trudeau and the Liberals. Like but we're seeing, you know, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, like the shit that the Conservatives did in their previous, you know, 10 years ago type shit. We're seeing the effects of that today. They're the ones that brought in the temporary foreign worker program, and we're giving government subsidies in order to bring in all these people to do cheap labor. They drove down the fucking wages. So people that are bitching and complaining and whining and moaning about how costs of living are going up, but wages have like went down. Thank the Conservatives. They fucking helped that right along. I don't understand why people can't see that, but the tribalism is so thick. It's I don't even know anymore. Anyways, y'all have lovely days. We got to start thinking and doing better and actually researching who the fuck we're voting for and what they're actually about. Because I would like to think that if people were responsible voters, and I was guilty of this once too, a long time ago, actually research who you're voting for and see what they're about. Because I'm sure if the majority of Canadians knew that Stephen Harper was interested in cutting their health care and moving them towards privatization and selling off their fucking public fucking corporations to like assholes like from fucking Saudi, he probably wouldn't have gotten elected. Cheers, freedom, free Palestine. Palestine is the key. And have good days. We'll come back. We'll talk more. Cheers, everybody.